Hey everyone, thanks for checking into the pit stop. It's Will.
And James, this is our recap for Amazing Race 38, episode 7. It feels like falling the whole time. And we are joined by a pretty star studded panel, if you ask me. We're all winners, which is very exciting when we get all winners on the recap to talk about the episode and catch up with each other. So, without further ado, let's welcome Queen Brooke, winner of season 29. Hey, Brooke.
Hello. I didn't realize we were all winners, but I guess we are all winners.
Oh,
I
it makes
love
it a
that.
lot more fun. We should have been like toasting some champagne or something.
I mean, I brought
And the most recent winners who are still carrying the torch, winning season 37, we have Carson and Jack. Hey, y'all.
Hey!
Oh my gosh, how is
Y'all.
everyone? Thanks for being here.
Which one of you just yelled like a Muppet? One of you just yelled like he was like Kermit the Frog. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be my standard response to most things. But I'm so happy to be here. I'm so excited.
Yes, same. Well, I mean, Carson and Jack, you guys are the most recent winners. So I would love to know, like, what have y'all been up to since winning, and how are you enjoying the current season so far?
Wow. I mean, as I'm sure you guys know, like once the season is done, you're like, oh, so now what? So I think like we had a period of so now what?
Yep.
But yeah, we've been working on sort of our like season 2 and rebrand of our show, which is really fun, which is called Dweeb Town. Which is great. So if you're a dweeb, check us out.
Yes.
Otherwise, we've just been like, yeah, I mean, I'm really actually enjoying this season of the race. I was like, I don't know if you guys, obviously you guys have dealt with this where it's like, after your season, I feel like there's probably a mixed like feeling in your brain about like seeing the next one happen. And so at first I was like a little concerned that like watching this next one would feel like a little bit sad, but I'm actually finding it very cathartic to witness other people go through this, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's totally, I feel like, cathartic. Like, but like we waited so long for our season to even come out, so the fact that this season came out so quickly after ours, 6 months, like we keep saying we went so hard on the finale, like we went crazy, we did this huge party, and we were like Nosferatu, like we needed to sleep for 100 years after that happened. And I feel like I went into my little coffin and I had my rest, and as soon as I got into the coffin, it was like next season. And so I was like, get back out, we gotta get back to the race. But it's been so, I mean, it really does feel like homecoming. You're like, oh my God, I'm like experiencing something that I didn't experience, but I know what it's like. And it's so beautiful. It's so awesome to watch.
Yeah, I feel like you watch it from a different lens, a completely different perspective, especially knowing all the inner workings, what's really going on behind the scenes, which makes it really fun as a fan and a viewer and a former racer. Brooke, how are you enjoying this season so far?
Okay, so at the beginning, I was kind of lukewarm on it. And I watched some Big Brother, but I didn't know all of these people. I knew some of these people, and I was just kind of like, I want to say too easy, but like I feel now I'm getting into it. The last couple episodes, not last episode, that was kind of blech, but this one and the one before that, I thought I loved tonight. I thought it was really fun. I have a question actually for Jack and Carson. Do you guys, after my season, I found in the seasons that came after, Will and James, you guys went to Trinidad and Tobago, right? You guys did the drumming on your first one. Was that you guys? Okay, so I noticed. Did you guys find that in the season after yours, they started doing things and you're like, oh my God, okay, so I would be really good at this. Why wasn't this on my season? This would have been something I was good at. You will see that and you will feel that because you're like, we had a gazillion stairs and they get to play the drums. And it's all musical and wonderful. I feel like you'll feel it, although now I'm thinking you guys were really good at everything, so maybe you won't have the same feeling that I had.
Well, I don't think we were good at everything. In fact, like I feel like what's coming through for me on this season is like there's so many physical challenges. Like it's so physical, but not like insanely physical. It's just like challenges that should be physically demanding, like the brick, right? The like mud brick in this episode, which we'll talk about, but like there's always an option for like a physical task. And I feel like I've actually been like, thank God we were not on this season, because we had other choices
Strengths.
that like, I don't know, we had such a physical cast too that I'm like, it would have been dominated by
Yeah.
Nick and Mike,
Yeah.
Pops and Jeff. Like,
There are also like actually this episode particularly, I was like, it reminds me so much also of our season. Like obviously we did the skydive, but then also it reminded me so
The
much of all
boat.
Bulgaria stuff
Yeah,
as
true.
well. And just like the driving and people getting lost, and like I actually sort of felt like we've been here before, like in a way where I was like, I feel like I've seen this episode 6 months ago, which was interesting. But I also actually like really loved this episode. I thought this one was my favorite of the season so far. And I think like, I don't know, I think this is kind of probably always ish how the Amazing Race goes. I feel like sometimes it starts slower and like without hopefully offending anyone too much, but like you're, you know, weeding off some of the like weaker teams, and then once it gets like really competitive later in the season, I feel like that's where it gets like more exciting, and I think we've like hit that point.
Yes, I agree. I think this episode has been my favorite one so far. I think just the tasks and just the way it was shot and just how competitive it felt very Amazing Race to me. The last couple of episodes this season kind of lost me. I have not been a big fan, but we talked about that in our last recap. I think a lot of it has been leg design or tasks that just don't feel really equitable, because a lot of the female teams are at a disadvantage with a lot of these tasks, which has been frustrating to watch, especially now that we've seen 3 female teams go back to back, and a lot of it is because of the physicality of the tasks.
And I would even say, I completely agree. I think this was my favorite episode of them all so far. But what's interesting is that like the thing that brought the most drama, I think, to the episode was something that wasn't even designed. It was like them getting all lost. And at the end, right, those last 10 minutes to me were the most exciting. People were in the chat being like, it's like France on our season, where it's like everybody's going to the pit stop all at once. But to me, what was unfortunate about that is like that actually like was just chance, like kind of. It wasn't really actually part of the design, and I wish like there were some things that like gave them a little bit more. I don't know, something. I don't know. I feel like I'm feeling like I want them to be equalized more throughout the challenges, but.
Yeah, we've been needing a lot more equalizers, and I'm glad this one was. I mean, when I saw at the beginning, we can just dive right into the episode. Teams were instructed to fly to Bucharest, Romania, and all the teams would be on 2 different flights. Flight 1, which would arrive at 3:50. The second flight would arrive at 8:35. When they arrive, they have to make their way to the TNT brothers to begin this leg with what Phil said was a heart-pounding adrenaline rush that will take the team's breath away. When I saw just how much of a time gap there was between the first flight and the second flight, I was like, please, Lord Jesus, let there be an equalizer, because there really hasn't been. And we've seen, just based on the start times alone, how separated teams are just on the time. So I was glad when we saw the teams arrived that they would be spending the night before ultimately doing the skydiving. But I've hated just how separated the teams really have been at the pit starts, because if you're that far ahead, there's not much of a hustle to your race. Where we saw in this episode, because everyone was equalized, I think Joseph said it. He was like, because everything's equalized, we're racing to be first and also racing to not be last. There's just, I just like the energy that comes with it.
Also, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like this is the same as what happened on our season, and I'm interested to hear what you guys think about it. It's happened now 2 seasons in a row, which is where after the double U-turn, there's another leg, no equalizer. On like one hand, I think it's interesting, right? Because you get these sort of amazing catch-up stories, like not to call It's amazing. But like our catch-up story after that first leg, again, people were like, oh, they're totally going home. And so it was like extra exciting when we didn't. And that was sort of the case again with like Izzy and Paige last episode. But also then I feel like we miss a little bit of the, I don't know, everyone coming together and the like moment of being like, oh, you did us dirty, you know, and we got a little bit of that this episode, but like because there's some of that time in between, it's not as fresh. I feel like it's not as like juicy or maybe as real as like if Izzy and Paige had seen them like the next day, Jag and Jazz, right? And like maybe really would have like, we would have gotten a really juicy moment where this one, like some time had clearly passed and they were more giving like cold shoulder rather than like what they gave at the U-turn board, which was like this.
Anger.
You wanted an Ann Lee moment where she's like, which one of you did this to me? You wanted that like
yes,
moment.
yes.
Yeah. And to your point too, James, about like the energy that comes with everybody being like knowing that they could either be first or last when it's equalized. Like you also, it's a travel show, it's a competition show, it's a game show, but it's also a personality show, right? It's a dynamic show. And I think when these people get like, there are some teams that act so different when they're at the front of the pack and when they're at the back of the pack. And I want to feel like I'm seeing everybody in every situation, right? Like, because then you get a real three-dimensional picture of who these racers are with each other, with themselves, with the race. Like, you get a really interesting idea of, you know, who people are when things are equalized all the time. Because you see them in so many different situations, you know?
Fair.
I think that played out too, like with Joseph and Adam stealing the flight out of Stephanie and Natalie. Like, if your back is against the wall and you're trying to have a leg up and you know that it's equalized, you're going to do whatever it takes. And for the whole season, we've seen this Joseph, Natalie, Trainwreck Alliance kind of help each other constantly. But I think that comfort level of like, oh, we're in the front, we can keep doing it, disappeared right here. And I think they tied it in really well with the previous leg where Stephanie was like, why are we waiting for them? We need to just run our own race, which is how I feel the whole time. I think this season has been a lot of, oh, come over here. It's over here. It's a lot of hand holding, but it is mainly because everybody's been so comfortable. Everybody's kind of had that cushion of the people in the back still being in the back the entire race.
But I think we talked on a little bit in our last recap. We had Hannah and Simone and Rubina and Christine on. And I think just the casting dynamic is what makes it very different because there's a lot of pre-existing relationships here. So I'm really not surprised by the amount of hand-holding as we've seen, or just obviously this Trainwreck Alliance having been formed. Like, I'm not surprised because the Big Brother group, they're close when they're at these events together. So of course they're going to be on the show and, you know, help each other. It's always a game in their mind. So it's just, I'm not surprised.
But I don't think it would be if they were like equalized every time. Like, I really think that the competitiveness of these people, it would be 100% for 7 full episodes so far if it was like that every single time. Because this episode felt really chaotic. People were making mistakes. People were arguing. People were getting lost. Like, there was so much more dynamic viewing pleasure than previous.
Completely agree. I mean, I feel like our season, like this season is just so different. Like our season, we had equalizers
every leg,
almost every single time, like maybe every time except for like once. And even the like double legs, right, where we did like, we were in Japan twice or whatever, but then like everyone had to get on these bullet trains, so you were like sort of bunched up. And then in Bali, like we had the monkey forest thing, which didn't open or whatever. And so we only ever had kind of one leg, which was Bulgaria part 2, which was a non-equalizer. And so to see how often that's sort of been happening thus far is kind of interesting. But also I do kind of like it. Like I go back and forth because it does remind me of like OG Amazing Race, where like some people would be like a day ahead. And there was something about that too that was just like also, so I guess what I'm getting at is like sometimes when it feels really natural and it doesn't feel like they're like editing, you know, anything that isn't real into the show, where if they're like, you know, when they edit like there's 3 teams running to the pit stop, but like really one is clearly way farther like behind. There's less of that when it's very clear who's in front. So I don't know. I sort of go back and forth.
Well, like last leg, like Christine and Rubina had no chance of catching up. Like we knew from the get-go, even though they kept teasing them may be eliminated, if it was not elimination, great, but it obviously wasn't. So there really was just no opportunity to jump back up. We're going back to your point earlier, Jack, about how like if that leg had been an equalizer, like let's say that it was a forced opening at the Arboretum where everyone was there at the same time, then we would have gotten the confrontation fresh from Paige and Izzy on Jag and Jazz, which this episode, obviously just those emotions weren't as heightened as what they could have been the leg prior.
Well, also like we would have gotten like Rubina and Christine, like because they also got U-turned and made it through, which was like crazy, right?
Insane.
Like both U-turned teams didn't go home, so it would have been such a juicy moment of like both girl teams being like, because we have that storyline too, right? That like Taylor pointed out, oh my god, the boys are ganging up on the girls. Like it would have been such an interesting moment to clock.
I actually think it would have been a better storyline to have both girl teams there, because I think Izzy and Paige are kind of like in the moment they were pissed, but I kind of think they're above the fray, and I think that like they weren't going to go over even fresh and tear them a new one. I think that, you know, we heard it wasn't going to be their plan to U-turn Jag and Jazz, and I think that what would have happened had we had Rubina and Christine and Izzy and Paige show up together in that previous leg, I think it would have been the women coming together and celebrating more than blaming and yelling and having it be a negative. I think it would have been such a nice positive moment, because I think all 4 of those women are just like, they have their moments and whatever, but especially, I mean, all 4 of them really are just Rubina and Christine. Whenever they saw anything, they were like, yes, we can do it. Like, I just think it's just all, they all are very positive in their own ways. And I think it would have been nice to see that, because I don't know about y'all, but when we finished a leg, we, with the exception of one time, and I knew because I saw people walk by my hotel room that night, but like we knew who went home. Like there wasn't really a question the next day. We were either at the pit stop seeing, or like I said, the one time I saw, we didn't know if it was Becca and Floyd or Liz and Mike, and I heard people in the hallway, so I poked my head out and I saw Becca and Floyd walk by, and I was like, oh, you guys made it. And so we knew. So it's so weird to me to hear them all be, we haven't seen anybody in 2 legs. We don't know. Like, that's partially leg design, because you didn't see anybody in the last leg because the leg was 90 minutes long. Like, I joked around with Bryce that they finished the leg in the amount of time it took us to watch the episode. Like, it was a very short leg.
My God.
Yeah. That's
so I would have liked to see the women together to like rejoice.
Yeah. Well, I did like that in the conversation of equalized. They were all equalized. And I love that they all got to spend the night together at TNT Brothers. I love seeing downtime with the team.
Yes.
It's such a lost like moment on the show in recent years. Like, I'm rewatching season 2 right now, and the amount of downtime, even like during a leg, where teams can come together and they're like eating food or sleeping on a beach. Like, I find that part of the show so much more interesting than drawn out edits of tasks. I want to see the dynamic among the teams and what everyone's perception is on who's doing well, who's not doing well. And obviously there's a looming twist in this game. Like, I'm sure with the downtime these teams are having, they're talking about what's to come. Like, you guys on your season, Carson and Jack, y'all were able to have these conversations of what to anticipate on a season of twists. And like, we need that as a viewer.
Right.
I need that in the edit so bad. So I liked seeing them have this like sleepover.
That is a really good point. Yeah, I feel like the 2 things that I'm tracking when I'm watching The Amazing Race are like, I have like a hope tracker and a choice tracker. Like, I'm like, so how much hope do I feel like, oh my God, they really feel like they're still in this, or like, oh, they feel like they're out of this, or like, oh, we're gonna get first. You know, I'm always tracking like, where's the hope? And what we're talking about is like all these things that like feed back into that scale, but then also choice. Like, those are the 2 things that make personalities who they are, right? Like, what type of choices you're making. and what you choose during your downtime, or like the little intricacies of who you are when it's just making tiny choices. Like, I loved the shot of her taking off like 9 layers today.
Oh yeah.
In that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a choice. And I love that they included that, actually, because I felt like I got to know her through something like that. Like, that she did have all those layers, that she brought all of that on the race, and that she decided, even though she might be like a second, you think there's only one team behind you, maybe, right? And you're still like taking the time to take off the clothes. I'm like, I have learned more.
I thought it was me. It's not me.
Carson being remixed.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
Oh,
this
no.
while he's coming back and doing his thing. I will say this: Natalie is me. I am Natalie. I too, when I am hot or uncomfortable, I'm taking 10 seconds and being like, hold on, just ripping everything off of me, because there's something to be said for she could be driving for the next half hour. It is better to be comfortable for the next half hour. You will drive faster, you will be better than just being like bunchy and uncomfortable and bad. So I get that, but also big shout out to Stephanie, who was like, girl, do it later. I love Stephanie. I love both of them, but Stephanie, she had just had it. Stephanie had it with the Alliance, and the look on Stephanie's face, which I made up in my head, it's possible, but I think I saw on the TV screen when Joseph and Adam were like, we're going to take the flight.
Yeah.
Stephanie was not having that. And also, I don't understand. I wish, I don't know if you guys looked, how much earlier did Joseph and Adam walk into the travel agency? And were they actually earlier? Did they walk in together? How did
they
that work?
literally walked in together. Like, it was one of those things where, I don't know, I kind of wish that the ticket agent guy would have been like, ladies first, and then like given Natalie and Steph the flight over Joseph and Adam. But okay, while we wait for Carson to come back.
I think Natalie and Stephanie gave up too fast.
Oh, yeah.
Agreed.
Where is the anger? Where is the absolutely not ripping the passport out of that guy's hand? Where is the sir? We're ladies. Of course you should help us first.
And then Joseph and Adam might go like laughing, and like that, their joy and positivity in that moment would have pissed me off even more.
Yeah. Well, also, like, to your point, James, about like the most interesting thing being these inter-team dynamics, right? Like, that's, I feel like that, especially for Joseph and Adam and for Natalie and Stephanie, that was like sort of their whole plot line. And now, like, spoiler alert, obviously, Natalie and Stephanie going home, that plot line sort of like never really ended. Like in fact, like that moment, right, of them in the travel agency, like, was a really interesting plot point in their overarching story, but it almost doesn't feel like we get like an interesting end to it, where like, maybe, I don't know, obviously I wasn't there. I don't know if they talked to each other at all when they were at skydiving, if they said like, hey guys, like, what the hell was that, or whatever, like, to sort of like get a moment of that, like a closure of their
they would have shown it. I'm
wasn't there
it was the most interesting thing to happen.
Sorry. It was like a brief moment where I think Natalie was like, you owe us, you guys owe us.
Yeah.
They said something to that extent.
They did.
Like, that was it.
Yeah.
Dude, I would have been like a rabid monkey, being like, you gotta be kidding me. We have written you directions to places. You have followed us everywhere. Are you joking? And then I would have talked to that ticket agent and been like, sir, take ours first. And he would have, because he's like, you two are not gentlemen. Like, most ungentlemanly people ever. Like, there would have, and I have to believe Natalie and Stephanie didn't say anything else, because if they did, I have to believe the show would have aired it, because it was so interesting with the dynamic of those two teams.
I think if they would have fought back harder, I feel like Joseph and Adam would have potentially caved and then been like, Natalie and Steph, okay, fine, you guys were here first. But because they didn't really put up a fight, I would have been like, okay. But then on the flip side, like, let's put ourselves in Joseph and Adam's shoes. We all would have done the same thing. Like, if I can
yeah.
But in the moment, I'm pissed for Nat and Steph, because like, that's shitty. But at the same time, I can't fault Joseph and Adam.
No, not at all.
Well, let's talk about this roadblock. Who's ready to jump into the race? Participants will jump in the morning in the order that they took a number. We learned that this will be an amazing race first in terms of the height of which the jump is, 13,000 feet is what Phil said, which is interesting because I went and Googled y'all's season, Jack and Carson, like your skydiving and just like the name of the company that did it. And it said 13,000 feet. So I'm like, why is this how is this the first? Because I feel like you guys did the same thing, no?
Yeah. So I remember vividly, they had like the instructor that you're strapped to, or whatever, they have these like wristwatches that tell you like how high you are in the sky. And what I believe for some reason happened was when they told us about the challenge, they said we were going up like 11,000 feet. But then actually on the wristwatch, you could see that we were higher than that we were at 13,000 feet, I think. And so, yeah, I was like, maybe they just got confused. I don't know. But I thought it was interesting their, skydive versus ours. Like, I felt like theirs had a lot more of like personality moments. Like, it felt like it was a more important part of like the episode at large. But ours, I was looking at them skydiving and I was like, oh my God, it's just grass. Like ours was this like crazy, like man-made,
Dubai.
The world and Dubai. Yeah. And theirs was like grass. So I was like, yeah, it was interesting. I felt like ours was like kind of cooler, but also they had more like personality during.
Yeah, y'all jumping gorgeous.
Yeah. And mostly because of me.
I'm back. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear
you. Okay. So sorry. I'm keeping y'all on your toes.
Oh no, we love it. We love
it. Sorry, I don't know if I don't know what you've covered while my internet crashed, but
we already talked about that. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you guys just talked about me the entire time I was gone. He is such a buzzkill. As far as I don't know who you've talked about or what with this skydive, but all I know is I would be exactly like Paige. I mean, Jack saw me even preparing it to potentially have the reality that both of us were going to go up in a hot air balloon or skydive or whatever, and I was looking dead like a rag doll even before we even figured out who was going up. So I respected that. I said, close your eyes, queen, and float down.
Yeah. And what Paige was saying about having to like rethink her vows.
Yeah, seriously.
All the ways Izzy will have to make this up to Paige was hysterical. But I agree. I would have been a Page as well, Carson. I do not want to skydive.
I love skydiving. I've done it. I loved it from 13,000 feet. Although when I was up there, I was like, he's like, do you want to pull the cord? And I was like, absolutely effing not. I do not want to pull the cord. You do this for a living. No, I want to hold. I thought for some, if you hold the backpack, if you hold the parachute really tight, you're not gonna die. So dumb. But I just was like, you're gonna have to jump. I'm not pushing us forward. But once I was out, I was like, this is the best. Like that's my kind of stuff. I'm jealous we didn't get to do it.
I am too. I wish we would have been able to do some crazy heights. I mean,
next time.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, I feel like this type of challenge like is the one that like makes me miss racing the most. Like I was watching this being like, oh my God, like what I would give to be back in the fucking sky. And yeah, I was like, I wanted to ask you a question. I don't know if this can go anywhere, but I've seen you, James, like in the Discord talking about like your idea for an all winners situation. And I don't know if you guys want to talk about this. Sorry if not, but that like you wanted to race with Laura and not Will. And I was curious like what that was about.
No, it was that fan-made fantasy all winners cast photo, and I showed Will, and Will was not pleased with this graphic.
You should go back one step. Wait, you got to go back one step because they originally put me with the fan put me with Laura.
That's true.
They put me with Laura, and I had said Laura's a badass and that would be awesome, but Scott would murder me if I didn't race with Scott. And then they said, okay, have James and Laura, and James like, okay. Bye.
Whatever.
It's a rite of passage. Next, it's gonna be me and Laura. And then we'll all experience what that.
Actually, it's going to be
Spoken.
Laura and Jack because her baby's name is Jack, and then they're going to be racing for baby Jack.
Oh my
Wow.
god!
Oh, I
I'm
love
in.
that.
I'm in.
And then season 51 will be all the people not with
Sorry,
Laura.
Carson,
So
you're
it'll
not.
be me, Will, Scott. Gay man season.
Absolutely.
That's
Oh yeah,
That's
we can-
hilarious.
we can only manifest that season 40 is victory lap. That's what I like to call it.
Hey, you know what? I'll take any season. Like,
Yeah.
you see that sometimes they don't use the round numbers as well. So
Mhm.
I'll see you guys on season 42. What do I care?
Yes, exactly. And then you know what? If there's skydiving on that season, I would do it. I would have to. It's one of those things like in real life, you would never
I
catch
bet
me
Laura
just
would do it
randomly
for you. I
signing
feel like
up
Laura
for
would do it.
skydiving.
Right,
Laura
Laura.
can gladly do it. Jump for baby
Laura.
Jack, Laura. I'll be cheering for you from the ground. But I would, if I'm on Amazing Race, you do it. When push comes to shove, you're surprised what you're capable of doing. But in real life, sorry, I'm not going to go sign up to jump out of a plane anytime soon.
Yeah.
Same.
What
No,
I
it's really
thought was
dumb.
funny
It's
about
really
the roadblock with skydiving is when we were in the Discord chat, Jazz was saying that they could literally see the sheep farm from the sky because the next
funny.
told them to make their way on foot to the sheep farm across the street in order to find their next clue. And when they were there, they had to choose a pen and corral 5 sheep that were marked with blue from one end of their pen to a smaller one on the other side of the pen. This was a funny, just hilarious task that definitely delivered some funny moments, especially when like the sheep would like jump over the fence. Like it was just chaotic and hilarious. I looked at Will and I was like, I feel like the strategy would be to like herd them all to the small pen and then start to kick out the ones that weren't blue. And I think like Jag and Jazz kind of like unintentionally did that. But I thought this was fun. What did you guys think?
Yeah, I really liked it. It was sort of a callback to
I think that's
they've
what
done this
Izzy and Paige
before.
did at the end. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I think I have lag.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's me.
No,
I'm
you're-
sorry.
It was
might
sort of
be
a
me. I don't know.
callback to
But
like,
Izzy and Paige did it accidentally. Well, you go.
Okay, I'll go. Okay, it was sort of a callback to they've done this before. I believe in one season, it was an early season. But I felt like the pens were much bigger in that one. And I quite liked like seeing people run, like have to like really chase a sheep.
Yeah.
And I feel like in this one, it was like they were small enough that they didn't really feel like they could just like sort of wall and move them. But of course, I love when an animal is introduced into a challenge because it like adds so much variable. It like is such a thing that you can't predict. There's like different personalities of the animals. There's just so many variables, and I think it's like always really exciting. So I liked it.
Yeah, I think you're thinking of maybe, at least in my head, what I was like desperately hoping it would be like was season 25, the goat milking, where they had to like catch the goats and then milk the goats with like Kim and Allie doing that. Maybe not. But like
I'm thinking with like the gay boys. Remember like the early gay boys? Tim and TJ, Kim and Allie. Oh yes, yeah.
I was sort of I agree. I was hoping it would be like that. Like I love watching people like slip and fall while the animals like outsmart them. It's like a very humbling human, I think, experience to be like, even though we have these like highly developed brains, especially like city folk, like once you actually get down and dirty trying to like wrestle an animal, we have no idea what we're doing. And I wish there was a little bit more of that, but I did like it overall. I did think it was a little strange that it was literally across the street, where it was like when they read the clue and it was like, go to a sheep farm or whatever, and it was just right there. I was like, that's so funny. But I did like it. Yeah.
Anyone else?
Brooke.
I'm waiting to see if Brooke has the lag.
I don't think I have the lag, but I might. I was just. That person said it best. I'm good. I love the animal challenges. Any animal challenge was my thing. I was into it. I love when they do it. I was actually curious because I thought like Kylan would be best at this challenge because he just has such a calming presence, and animals more than anything feed off your energy. Like I was a little worried for like Chelsea, who is at a 10 most of the time. And like, I didn't know if because she was like, come on, get out. But she actually calmed down around the animals and they did well. So I like watching people's personalities, because animals will be like, absolutely not. Shut up, I'm not coming near you, for certain people. But I actually wish this was much harder too. Like, I wanted it to be season like 15 herding the ducks. Like, I wanted it to be 150 sheep, like really far. And it just seemed like an easier version of something we've seen before. That being
imagine
said,
an open pen. Like a big open pen with all of the sheep. So all the teams are doing it. So anytime a team is running, they're all just going to move it. And it would have been mass chaos. And it would have equalized things a little bit more from just coming off what broke things up with the skydiving.
Oh my God.
Because Tucker and Eric were like they were done before like the third people jumped from the plane.
And you know what's so genius about that too? You need 5 with the blue mark. Put only 7 sheep in there. Like if it's all one big pen, they're all in there together, and you need to bring your sheep to your thing. It's like, no, we have the sheep. It starts a fight between teams because it's like, no, we're getting this sheep, and it's like there's not enough sheep for 2 or 3 teams or something to all get 5 sheep in there. So you have to sort of. Then I
worry for the safety of the sheep in that situation.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I mean, Brooke, interestingly though, you bring up a really good point, which was like, obviously, the animals can pick up on your energy.
Thank you,
but
I know.
What was interesting was that Kyland actually wasn't calm right before this challenge. He and Taylor were like beefing right before this because like they got minorly lost. But what was interesting was, maybe they were like picked up on that. And they were not their usual like chill selves.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Izzy, she was almost like doing a lullaby to them. She was like, I love you. You're awesome. It was like so lovely.
I do like when they do an actual task though with a route info, because they easily could have just been like, go across the street to get your next clue, which then we would have missed an entire task. And I think because of these 90-minute episodes, we're seeing more task related route infos in an episode, because after the sheep, they had to drive themselves to Debarcadere Levada to find their next clue. And when they arrived, they were instructed to choose any pontoon boat to assemble. And then they had to retrieve their clue by pontoon. They could not swim to the clue box. What did everyone feel about this pontoon task?
I actually thought this was kind of genius. Because I've been actually, we spoke about this really briefly at the beginning of the episode about like the, equity between gender, right? And I feel like a lot of tasks are really sometimes much more difficult for women or just like people with smaller frames, right? Now, in this one, I actually felt like it was sort of an advantage for smaller people because it's less likely to tip over. So I was like, this is a great challenge or type of challenge to throw in there where it like makes things a little more equitable. Like, like maybe some challenges obviously like favor really big muscly dudes, but something like this, which might favor someone who's like, I don't know, more light in body, I thought was like a really interesting thing that they don't always weigh into in challenges.
Yeah, I also liked the fact that like, you go, your turn.
No, I don't care. Am I the lag? Is it me?
I don't know.
Maybe it is me. I don't know.
You're good now, Brooke. You're good now.
Okay. I actually really like the fact that it said you cannot swim to the pontoon because at least 3 of those dudes were going to be like, I'm in. And would have jumped right in the water and swam to it. So I like when they give very direct directions. And I so badly, and I not throwing shade to them, I wanted Joseph and Adam to tip over. So I wanted somebody to tip over and they were the most likely 100%. To do it. Like I just wanted to see something go horribly wrong for somebody. And I was
they
like,
had a bumpy start getting
but
into
I
the
would have
water.
said that for whoever it was. But it was very, Adam's like, dude, yeah, they did.
Well, I don't think we would have been able to fit on that.
I think I would have laid down.
On our stomach?
Yeah, smart.
Yeah.
You go.
Brooke?
Oh no, she's got the lag.
Yeah, no, I think that's genius, Will, laying down. I think that's genius. But also I wonder if I just love when there's like layers and layers and layers. I loved building something that then you have to use in a challenge. So I loved that. But I also thought back to Brooke, on your season, the having to stand on the canoe while doing the bow and arrow or something like that, forcing then someone to stand up, I think is like kind of interesting too. Like I wish like maybe the thing was like really tall, like where you had to get the clue, right? So that it forced somebody to actually change their position, get up onto a stand or something. I think could have introduced a little bit more chaos into that as well.
Yes.
Yeah. You know what? I think right now what's interesting in the zeitgeist of like CBS reality generally is like Survivor's getting a lot of flack for their challenges, starting to seem sort of all the same. Yeah. But interestingly, like I actually feel like if Amazing Race maybe like, you know, took on one of the Survivor challenge producers, like they could have added an element like that where maybe it's like there's a key on a pole, right? And you need to on the boat like push off the key, right? Like that's like a classic Survivor puzzle.
Right. Use your stick.
Use
your stick, and somebody lost theirs.
Exactly. Yeah. So like maybe small adjustments like that could make it even more, or like like maybe then your key falls into the water, right? And then you're like really screwed, and like there's like more room for a lot of chaos to happen just during like these little adjustments that could be made.
It makes it much more dynamic for a room, for sure.
I do have an issue though for this, and then like it's a lot of building. Every episode there's a lot of like building things. They had to build their cart for the last episode. They had to build this boat. Like I miss the challenges where it's like, I don't know, maybe you have to measure something and take down numbers about it and figure out a code or something that's a little less handy. I think sometimes this season it's just all hands-on. Or I want it to be like more mental.
More cultural too. I don't feel like we're really getting a lot of cultural tasks either.
Poop isn't cultural?
I think you could have been at a sheep farm wherever you were. Like it didn't feel like what was Romanian about it. Like that was I agree with you. But I do agree with you. I wanted more showmam in Romania. What do they do in Romania? What is something specific to Romania? Like there are sheep everywhere. I don't know. Yeah. I agree with that too.
Yeah, I agree as well. I think like to your point, Will, like I feel like a classic like Amazing Race thing for like, I don't know, a couple episodes ago for like Croatia could have been like count the number of stones in this small castle, right? Yep. Rather than like the building the carts and going down a hill, because that like from what I've heard isn't actually like a cultural sport of Croatia at all. But like what could have been maybe is like the counting and memorizing of something. And then also that leaves a lot more room for, you know, there's been this whole overarching thing this season of the alliances, and like, are you going to help someone or are you not going to in that situation? Are you going to work together or not? Where the go-karting thing was fun, but like maybe not as like classic or like relevant to the type of game that's being played.
Well, I do think they did a good job with the Detour, at least. The Detour felt very true to Romania, just based on what Phil had said. With the brick builder, teams had to make bricks, which is something the local villagers do, where the community comes together and they help each other kind of complete chores. And then they had to use these materials to pack a mold and create 10 perfect bricks. Then the judge would sign off on them one brick at a time. And then in the mask maker side of this Detour, each team member had to replicate a finished mask sample, paying attention to all the minute details in order to receive their next clue. But both of these, I mean, just from what Phil was saying, felt very true to Romania. So at least they got it right here with the Detour. If you guys were on this season, which side of this Detour do you think you would have probably chosen?
Great question. I think, Jack, we haven't talked about this, but I think we probably would have gone with poop. With the brick building, just because, again, like I think something we were talking about last time, like we were just talking with Hannah and Simone on their podcast, and we were talking about last episode, talking about like the thing with the least amount of variables is the thing that you want to do, right? So like that rowing challenge last time was so not the right choice, I felt like, for anybody. But this one, it was kind of a toss-up, but it feels like the brick, you can at least be making progress. You know, you're 50% there instead of you're missing something like on the mast that you fell off the table, or, you know, things like that.
Yeah, I agree. My instinct was definitely the poop thing, but I did really agree with Izzy and Paige's being like, we're in last, right? We left the challenge before that in last. You kind of have to go to the other one because that's your chance to make up some ground. Even if I agree there are more variables, it's the type of challenge where, like, if you do one thing wrong and the judge doesn't tell you what's wrong, you might be screwed. However, like, it might be the only chance of survival if you're showing up at the poop challenge and all the other teams are, you know, they've done 8 out of 10 and then you're showing up, like, you don't stand as good of a chance. And also just, so yeah, I think it depends where you are in the race. But yeah, Izzy and Paige also, by the way, like, they do everything right on the first try. Seriously. So for them, I think, like, maybe this mask challenge makes more sense. Like, not everyone's the same. I know that we would have done the bricks, but yeah, I kind of wish I was, like, as smart and detail oriented as them.
Brooke, what side of the Detour do you think you would have chosen?
Oh, poop. Again, because it took a while to say poop. I also, but I thought, like, the brick side of the challenge was I also thought that was a watered down version of something previously, because I think might have been season 5. I think it was like a Colin meltdown. I think it was a meltdown of somebody where they had to make those clay bricks in the sun, but they didn't tell you, I don't think, which ones were wrong, and they didn't tell you why they were wrong. And I wish there was a little bit less of this one. I wish they would have told you more. Just no. I don't know. I wanted more from that. Yeah.
I feel like we've been seeing that a lot. We would have
done the brick side, even though I would have wanted to do the other side.
Yeah. I feel like we've been seeing that a lot where the judges point out what's wrong at a task. And then it's easy for the team to kind of fix their mistake, where, yeah, in earlier seasons, the judge would just stand there and say, no, you know, and then you have to kind of reassess and, like, figure it out all over again. And I wish we didn't do much.
It's crazy that it feels like I wonder if, like, they don't understand how rewarding that is for an audience to, or like how on the edge of that seat, on the edge of your seat, it makes you to know that that's how the experience they're going through. Because even on our season, that is how, like, the cheese was in France, although they made it seem like it wasn't. They, like, stopped, they edited it so that it just stopped on the cheese that, you know, we got it wrong on, but that's not how actually the challenge went. And so I think I don't know, we need to hold up signs and be like, this is an important aspect of, like, the audience's experience, is, like, feeling as though, like, the irony of knowing that something, you know, oh, it's that one, but they didn't tell you that, or, you know, whatever.
Well, and also, like, we aren't getting the crash outs that we used to, because if you've done something, if you've made, now at this point, 45 bricks and you're still not getting it, right? Like, that's when people lose control of their emotions. And we aren't getting that, because when you point out, like, oh, the corners are wrong, right? Then immediately you can be like, okay, well, at least we, you know, made this progress.
You're not insane, but I want them to think.
But I want them to be insane. Yeah.
Well, it would have been like on our season when we had to decorate the volquetas. Imagine if the judge had pointed out the horn, and then we would have been like, oh, well, that's what we did wrong. And then you lose that as a viewer of, like, but instead they saw us have a freaking meltdown and then have to go reread our clue. And then we were like, oh yeah, we have to put the horn together. Like, I just think, especially with this season, I think they're pointing out too many mistakes, and it's just, why are we doing that? Well, what do you think,
James? I think we would have. I would have advocated for arts and crafts.
Duh. I don't want to play in shit. No,
me neither.
Me too. Yeah.
I am happy though that at least one.
Also, wash your hands. I know I'm laughing, but I'm jumping in. Wash your freaking hands. Take 10 seconds and wash your hands. You're not going to lose by 10 seconds. I don't know. I'm washing my hands. That's just.
Which is probably why Phil did not want Joseph and Adam to hug him at the pit stop.
Loved that
so
moment.
Funny.
Also, I'm going to say one other thing, and I'm sorry if I'm lagging, but oh my God, why am I lagging so hard? But I'm going to say one other thing.
You're not.
Kylan and Taylor were supposed to let Joseph and Adam get on the mat first. If Joseph and Adam are chasing Phil around, I'm stepping on the freaking mat. Like, you're wasting your time. You had your chance. We let you go, and now we're going to step on the mat. Absolutely not.
And the fact that this has happened now multiple times in one season. I'm like, is this like a new meta of like that happening? Because like, girl, I would never. Like,
Never.
I don't, never. Like, I don't know. I guess it's just like maybe also
we
it's
ran past Scott and
when,
Lori that one time.
I know, yeah. When we were in Bali, like Scott and Lori were like literally right there, and Carson was like, "Should we let them go first?" And I was like, "No!" It was zoom right past. But
you know what that is? That's winner's mentality, and look at us. You know.
Well, yeah, no, but that's what I'm getting at. Is like, I think maybe there's a part of like because these, you know. I don't mean to dogpile because I've actually really enjoyed this season, and I don't mind that it's Big Brother people like some people do. But like, I do wonder if that's a part of the Big Brother effect, which is like there's more. I don't know. Maybe they're less competitive about it because they've like maybe they aren't necessarily like fans of the race, right? That they're Big Brother fans who got on the race.
Yeah.
And so I think like there's also like that's maybe what's missing from some people is like I'm a fan of The Amazing Race, so I'd rather get second over third because it like makes me feel better as a race fan to be like, I got second. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and also, I mean, I guess this could be at play, but also like when you have such deep relationships with people, I feel like that's when people are more willing to forgive you. Like we've seen that. Like I think doing it and being like, yeah, we got you. Like with a good friend, actually, like I can be like, yeah, you got us or whatever. But like when you're doing it with strangers, like when we talk about that Scott and Lori thing, it's like I don't know these people. Like I don't know if that's gonna cause them. Right after that, we got the W turn, the vote. So it's like I don't know if that's gonna cause them to be like those snakes. You know, I don't know these people, right? But when you do know these people and you're like, we have such a history, they're not gonna get mad if we get third over second. That is the time to then just get them, you know, because you have stuff to lean back on that is so not about the race, you know.
Yeah. I agree. I could never. I would never be like, here, get on. At least race me to the pit stop. If you pass me fair and square, fine.
Right.
Like let's make it more of a competitive foot race rather than like, yeah, here, go ahead and step onto the mat.
Or if I'm letting you have it and you don't choose to take it, well, I'm stepping on the mat. Like there's only so long I'm letting you have it for.
Which I feel like Taylor like, joked about. Taylor did say something
Taylor
like,
wanted to step on. Taylor's competitive. Yeah. I think she's not. I think she's a fan of things and learn things and study things. I think she would have been like, keep getting on the mat. Like this is stupid. But Joseph and Adam, they like to run around and joke around. So I would have stepped on them.
Teams had to make their way to the pit stop, Carroll Park, where we, again, were teased with the last team to check in may be eliminated, which I wasn't falling for after last week's episode. In first place, we had Tucker and Eric, still four first places in a row. Jack and Jazz second, still with their express pass. Joseph and Adam third. Kylan and Taylor fourth, still with their express pass. Fifth, Jack and Chelsea. Sixth, Paige and Izzy. And sadly, coming in last, and we say goodbye to them this episode, are Natalie and Steph. You guys, it's mind-blowing to me that there are still two teams in the race with express passes.
I know.
Girl.
They're obviously going to be played next episode.
Our season express pass literally lasted for like 2 legs.
Harder.
And what I will say, you just mentioned the maybe eliminated. I actually want to give props to whoever is behind pulling the strings, who was like, put more of those on there, just because, again, my hope meter, like, it's going crazy because I'm like, there, it just keeps that flame lit, right? Like people are running to the mat being like, I still could go home or I could be in this, right? Like, and even as an audience member, it keeps me on my toes. Like I think in the past we've talked about like, oh, like not doing the non-elimination actually keeps it high or whatever, like high intensity. But I actually am like, you can do less of those if you just put May on there every time. It still has that tiny bit of hope in there, which I love.
And it makes me believe that we will see a non-elimination before this season is over. I feel like it's inevitable. At least one.
How evil would it be if there wasn't? They just started saying that.
Iconic.
Like, crazy.
That would be.
But yeah, the Express Pass thing, I can't believe that. Our Express Passes, our season literally lasted for like 2 legs. I could not believe when we heard that they were lasting till leg 8.
Yeah, it should have been. Yeah, it should have been.
Ours
way
went to
shorter.
like 5. Ours went to 5.
5 seems like a healthy leg to like have an
Right,
Express
5.
Pass be used by.
Yeah.
With smart game players too, like you're
Sorry.
keeping that, like, to props to the people who have them. It's like it should be used as a defense mechanism.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So like with less equalizers, there's not the reason to feel as though you're in danger, so there's less reason to use them. So it's like this domino effect, I think, with a couple of the systems, like the game systems, that have all culminated in like them still being in the game, because even if they lasted till leg 8 but there was more reason for them to be scared, perhaps we would have seen them be used. But yeah.
Well, Will, do you want to introduce your game?
Sure.
Falling for
my
facts.
God.
Obsessed.
All right, friends. We're gonna.
This
play
is
a
us
little
on
bit-
season 40. That's what call.
Yes, literally holding hands.
Yes, Phil in the middle.
Wait. All right, so we're gonna do a little bit of
Okay.
trivia. The first one's pretty easy. Give us a nice little warm up. If you want to write it down, or like, I don't know, we can
Okay.
tally your score.
Write it
There's
down.
There's
Oh.
8 questions. You can also type it in your phone or type it on your computer, whatever works for you. All right, here's the first question. You don't have to shout it out, and if you're at home, play along.
So we write
Oh my
these
God,
down.
I'm
We're not saying it out loud.
Yes.
Okay.
In what country can you skydive over
Oh!
the Great Barrier Reef? All right, collectively, what is
Same
it, everybody?
Australia.
Amazing.
Australia.
Question number 2. True or false? You can legally skydive over
Oh.
Mount Everest. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Answer is true.
I said
Really?
False.
Oh, I
I
said
think false.
true.
Yes, Brooke in the lead.
True.
What
Did you say
Right.
true, James?
No, I said false because I feel like people get stuck up there all the time. Why are they going to let people skydive over it?
Question 3. Identify this destination. You can say the country if you would like and don't know.
I
the
feel like
place.
this is Destination X. I don't know where we are. Can we get more
True.
Okay.
I'm
right.
probably
I
wrong.
don't have a thing, so I'm just going to shout it out when you say
I'm
it.
scared.
Okay. It is Queensland, New
Switzerland.
Zealand.
Yes, I said New
Oh.
Zealand.
New Zealand.
No.
Oh, you're cheating. You live with the test maker, cheater.
Cheater. We're revolting.
All right, question. I don't know what number
Zealand?
this is.
You really?
What's the name of the thin parachute cord that skydivers
Oh,
pull to
God.
deploy the canopy?
The Brooke cord.
Yeah.
I mean, no.
The Brooke, do you want to pull this cord?
Oh.
Answers in. It is
Isn't it the ripcord?
very good, Brooke.
Good job, bro.
Yeah.
Damn
I
it.
said
Brooke
it
is
earlier,
slaying.
guys. I said, do you want to pull the ripcord? And I said, absolutely effing not. You do it, sir.
We're getting harder. What season of The Amazing Race featured the
Ooh.
infamous blindfolded
God.
skydiving?
I'm taking a guess.
I literally have no idea.
Is this
Okay.
person doing it, or can we figure out who the person is in the picture?
No.
No.
Are they?
No, the picture
Okay.
is very not related.
I said 12.
I said 12. Oh,
I
If you
said
close your
10.
eyes, all skydiving is blindfolded.
You said
I said-
10, James?
What
10,
is
11,
it?
12.
It is, honestly, somebody should double check my work, but it's 22.
Oh.
All right, next question.
Damn.
What country did the cast of season 20 skydive in episode
Oh
1?
my god.
Oh.
Is that the country?
Oh,
Is that a picture
The
of the
picture is the country or a,
Oh, is it?
a piece
Ooh.
of it.
Okay,
I
I got to guess.
The answer is Argentina.
Uh,
I said Chile.
Those are good guesses.
Peru.
I cannot stop thinking everything is Iceland. But maybe
girl,
just
I
I
said
went.
Switzerland
I
again.
was like, I know these roads. Like I was like
Just
so
keep
sure.
guessing Iceland. You'll get it eventually.
Yeah, right.
Isn't that Patagonia, the mountain range?
Yeah. Part of it.
Genius.
Okay, Smarty.
I think this is the last
Close,
question.
close.
This one is What If Our Parachute Doesn't Open is the premiere episode title for which Amazing Race season? It's
Oh my
also the
God.
first time skydiving was on the show.
It's the premiere episode? It's episode 1 of a season? Okay.
Yep. It's a single digit.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not 1.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
Okay.
All right, are you ready?
Not 5.
Okay.
Okay.
It
Okay.
God,
is
I'm
season
probably wrong.
3.
I was gonna say
Oh my
Really?
I was gonna say 3 and I went with 4.
I figured
Wait.
they had to skydive before 4. I figured it wouldn't have been 4
yeah.
and it wasn't 1 because that was been too easy.
No,
So-
1 they jumped into the gorge, and then 2 they went to Rio, and then I'm literally on season 2 right now, and I was like, "There's no
Those
way."
are
Wait,
such good
was
facts,
it
James. They didn't
was it a
answer the
roadblock?
question.
Or did everyone have to do it? Because I'm trying to imagine Flo having to do that, and I'm like,
I
that
know,
would
now
have
I
come
wanna-
up.
Now I want to rewatch Amazing Race 3.
I know we just watched that, and so then
That's
I
a
was
good
like,
one.
is it 3? But yeah, crazy. I flopped.
It was
Brooke-
in
Brooke Slade.
Mexico.
Good job, everyday.
That was
Shot in the
fun.
dark.
Thanks,
I-
Dave.
That was
You're so
amazing.
welcome.
Good
I
game.
only got
Good
one.
game.
Woohoo!
Well, you guys, thank you so much for joining us to recap
That was
this
fun. I like that.
episode. And it's always lovely to see your faces and catch up. And I can't wait to see how the rest of this season ultimately plays out.
Yeah.
I know. Oh my God. Thank you so much for having us. I feel so
Yay.
excited to talk about it. You guys are the
Always
best.
a
I really
ball.
do feel like it's a little reunion. I'm just keep
Yes.
being with my
Yes.
friends, you know?
Maybe the next time we reunite in
Yes,
person.
thank you
will be
so
the
much for
starting
having me.
line of
Sorry
season
if my thing is
40.
not working. Yes,
Mhm.
Manifesting every day.
I smell an alliance. I love it.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh.
Yes, the Zoom 5.
Oh my God, this Zoom 5.
Iconic.
That's
Uh,
amazing.
really good.
Enjoy your evening, everyone. And thanks to everyone who watched. And we'll be back next week for another recap. We'll see you then. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.